ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Moneyball. I am, of course, D Money, and with us, as always, my co-host,
J Ball. What's up?
Mr. J Ball, the man, the myth, the legend. Today we have a very, very special guest with us. Straight from the Southern Carolina coast, we have with us Christian Meeps Castiglione. Say what's up, my man.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Thanks for doing this.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. It's our first surfer. I think first and foremost, I want to know your background. I want to know your story. I want to know how you got into. So Jay and I are kind of going to ping pong questions. I think we both have quite a few for you. But of all things, how'd you get into surfing?
It's kind of started interesting. I used to, because normally I'm from Charlotte, so I mean, as like really young, I really didn't do anything with water. But my dad, he used to like drive down here and surf a ton. And then we ended up moving here because of surfing. And I used to like stand up on a boogie board. And my dad was like, okay, we have to get him a surfboard. So we ended up getting me like this little tiny little surfboard. And it just kind of took off from there. I just like got a real board and just kept wanting to go do it more and more and just kept going.
How old were you at that point?
5 or 6 probably.
Wow. So I'm trying to get my son to ride a bike. He's 9. I'm not even joking. He refuses. He thinks he's too cool. He thinks he's going to be a pro baseball player. He doesn't need to ride a bike. How long did it take you? I mean, listen, I'll be honest. Surfing to me looks like one of the hardest things. I have another friend, your dad also might know. His name is John Rinn. Lives out in San Diego. Actually, he certainly knows him, but he's been surfing a ton out there. And I tried once to get up on the board, man, and it was just a disaster. I mean, were you just a real quick learner? Did you kind of, was it natural for you, or was it frustrating and tough for you?
I mean, in the beginning, it was definitely tricky. But I mean, it definitely made it easier having somebody in the family who already surfed. Like my dad, it made it a lot easier for him to be able to kind of teach me and tell me what he already knew.
Sure. And I didn't know he was really, now he went down and started surfing there. And prior to that, was he surfing? I mean, I guess prior to going down, how did he get into it? Give us a little bit of background there.
They came down for a trip, I believe, to Carolina Beach, which is the beach like just south of where we live.
Okay.
And he tried it, and he tried it once on like a rental board, and he just loved it, and he kept
kind
going.
of fell in love. And that's what I hear. People who can get up on the board and actually ride a wave, they just kind of fall in love. It's just one of those things that, again, I don't know if I consider myself somewhat athletic. I don't know if I'll be able to get up on a board ever, but it's one of those things that people just say, once you do it and you ride that wave, there's like no other feeling. It's like a natural euphoria or a high, right? Like I run a lot. I get that runner's high, but I don't think it compares, to being up on a 30-foot wave or something. What is the biggest wave you've ridden? What's your proudest moment as far as the wave you've ridden?
That's funny. That was the first thing I wanted to know because
I stole it. You know what? Sometimes I get yapping on these things, and I'm gonna let Jay actually then field that question. So Jay, give him your version of that question.
Well, no, I want to say that the record is maybe close to 90 feet. Is that right, Meeps? The all-time record. Okay, so yeah, I mean, tell me about it. What's your highest wave you've ever surfed?
Probably a little bit over 10 feet in Puerto Rico.
Okay. Oh wow, that's really cool.
I mean, but that's a huge wave, right? So 10 feet, man. That's a story. I was just right next to you, by the way. I dropped the ball. I was going to come and visit, and I was about 45 minutes. Your dad told me it was 20, and it was about 45. So shame on him. He's the reason we haven't met in person. You can tell him that. But I was about 45 minutes away, and I was on, I guess it's called Topsail, not Topsail. Topsail.
Yep.
What happens to the sail there? You just gotta, if you're a true Carolinian, you just drop the sail and go to the sail.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's just accent.
You're like, I don't know, dude. I don't live there. Tell me about your area and how big surfing is there. I mean, is it a huge surf community? Is that kind of what it's known for?
It's pretty big around here. I mean, it's definitely probably the nicer part of like this kind of area down here in like southern North Carolina. I mean, I know like there's a lot of people who surf here. I mean, on a busy day, you can't even see the water. There's so many surfers.
Really?
From like the super high athlete, like pros that used to be pros live here, and then the guys who first time surfing. There's just everybody comes here and wants to surf.
Wow.
Now there's so many different kinds of surfboards. You know, there's longboards, shortboards, polyurethane, wood. Like, what kind of board do you enjoy?
That's a great question.
And how did you come about making your choice on that?
Yeah.
I tend to ride a shortboard that's polyurethane. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And then I do a little bit of longboarding in contests sometimes. I mean, they're two totally different types of surfing. I mean, shortboard, you're gonna be more like it's very quick and like high maneuverability. So you're like type of maneuvers would be like you do big turns or do like airs and like big carves. And then on a longboard, you're gonna be doing more of like walking across the board to the front of it and doing like hang tens and cheater fives and coming back and then like slow drawn out turns. So it's like two totally different types of surfing on either board.
Okay, and then the type of board, you know, tell me the difference of boards. You like what makes a wooden board? Why would you use a wooden board instead of a polyurethane board or vice versa?
Kind of like a
lot of,
baseball
like-
bat, right? Like an aluminum versus a wooden bat. You know, give us like a little bit of why you'd use either one.
The main two different ones would be like epoxy for like the glassing because it's all foam underneath.
Okay.
It's like epoxy, and then you got like PU, which is like polyurethane. The epoxy is a little bit lighter, so on more of like a windy day where the water is not as like smooth, the epoxy is definitely going to be bouncier, so it's going to like almost chatter across the top of the water.
Wow.
But the good thing apart that is that you can actually like, I feel like you can like move it more because it's a little bit lighter, so you can kind of like whip it around more. This is a polyurethane board. I like that better because it's like we get a lot of choppy days here because it's a little bit windy or it's not the perfect waves. So
Yeah.
I feel like I can more like glide through like choppier surf with it.
That's awesome. That's really neat.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think for somebody who's so novice like me and has no real idea. I mean, listen, I would love to be able to surf, right? And I wouldn't even know where to begin. And just that's interesting, to know the differences. What would a beginner do? A beginner would go shortboard, longboard, or how would you recommend if you tomorrow, were to start coaching or teaching someone how to surf, what board would you put them on?
I would definitely put them on. So normally I was talking about the two different types like hard boards. Now they also make like a foam board, so it's super soft. The bottom's hard, so it'll still glide, but the top's like almost like the foam that's inside there, but a little bit softer.
Okay.
So definitely like a long board that's foam. So if they do like hit the board really hard, it's not going to hurt that bad.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because when you're going up and you have that hard epoxy on it, and people probably don't realize, man, you're smacking down on that thing, right?
Yeah.
Have you had any gnarly injuries, man? Has there been anything where you've, broken anything or had some scares?
I mean, the most dangerous part of the board is definitely the fins. I mean, the fins are really sharp on the back here. I've definitely like rolled over on the board and landed on the fins and cut myself up pretty bad.
Yeah, but that's really the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yesterday when I was chatting with your dad a little bit, and I had my wife Trish on, and she had said, the very first question, it was funny because, I'm a dad, and I'm like, yeah, I want to hear about it, the waves and how he was doing this and that. And her first question was, oh my God, aren't you nervous when your 14-year-old son's out there and worried about him drowning, and it was just the motherly parental question versus me. And I'm like, man, what's the biggest wave and stuff. And
yeah,
there's gotta be times where you've been a little intimidated or scared, right?
Oh, definitely. There's definitely been some times where I'm on the beach like, I'm not doing that. That's too much.
Yeah, you'll just see it and know right away.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now Jay, he's been all over. He's been I think I heard Puerto Rico 10 times or something. Give us kind of the rundown where you've been. And also, Meeps, I'm real interested in the competition level of it. How you cross over from amateur to pro, how you make this a career, how you advance from, hey, I'm doing this as a recreational hobby to this is something I think I'm pretty serious about and I want to make some money, right? So how does that transition happen? And tell me a little bit about the whole business of it.
There's a lot of different ways you can make money off surfing. I mean, from the lowest level, we can say, I mean, you don't even have to be that good. You can own a surf like camp. Like you can be like, I'll teach kids how to surf because I know the basics, and I can be like, paddle this amount of time and pop up. And then you get a little higher than that, then you can do more professional training, like actually learning how to like shortboard, because shortboard is definitely much harder than longboarding.
Okay.
And then talk about pro. I mean, there's only 35 people that become pros every year because there's only 35 slots in like the WSL, which is the World Surf League.
Oh, wow.
There's a couple levels of the WSL. There's like the QSL, which is like there's a lot of people who can make it to that. But still, I mean, that's extremely hard.
Right. 35 a year. I mean, that's mind blowing. Where do you stand right now? Which level are you at? Let the people know where you at and what are your goals and aspirations.
More towards the middle, because I do there's like a different like organization called the ESA, which is the Eastern Surfing Association.
Yeah,
So like
tell us all about that. I want to hear more about, you in particular, what you're doing.
So like each year we have like 6 or 7 contests through ESA SNC. There's all different like regional contests through like the entire East Coast. So
Okay.
I'm in SNC. So it'll be 7 contests around my area right here in the Southern North Carolina area.
Okay.
And if you make like top 4 or 5, you get a slot to a contest called Regionals, which is up in the Outer Banks in Jeanette's Pier.
Okay.
And so if you make it to that, then it's about, I don't know, for your age group, which I'm in the 14 under and sometimes the 16 and under.
Okay.
There is the regionals, you'll have about maybe 40, 50 kids in the contest. And if you do really good in that, get like, if you make the finals through all your heats, which the heats are like the 6-man little like rounds.
Right.
If you make the finals in that, even if you win or you get 6, all through 6 through first with that in that contest, you'll end up going to something called regionals, which is also, Easterns, which is also at the Jeanette's Pier in the Outer Banks.
Okay.
And that's like the East Coast Championship. Like you win that, that's big. Never won that. I wish I did.
So what's your biggest accomplishment so far? Have you won a big tournament, placed? Like tell me about that.
I've gotten first at our SNC like not career, like our championship that we do like at our like local place. I got second at that regionals one, and then I did make it to nationals. I think I got 17th at nationals for like the national level.
So you got second at the regionals at Jeanette's Pier, and had you gotten first, you would have made it to the next level at Jeanette's Pier, the one you were talking about?
No, I made it to that one.
Oh, you made it to the elite one.
Yeah.
And came in second.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, that's huge, man.
And
Yeah.
what age bracket is that?
So that was during when I was 12 and under.
12 and under. Okay. Now, what age bracket are you in now? You're how old right now? You're 14?
Yeah, 14. So
Okay.
I last year I did the 14 and under, but this year I'm in the 16 because I'm just above 14 years old. I'm like 14 in like 2 months. So now I'm in the 16 and under.
So they do it more of like a 14, so a 13U, right?
Yeah, it's more like a 13.
All right. And that's a little bit tougher. But and correct me if I'm wrong here, and I'm probably way off base in saying this, but I would think that surfing is one of those sports that age, obviously experience is a huge advantage, but age and strength isn't so much, right? So let's put it in the terms of like a football player or a basketball player.
Yeah.
You can't, a 14-year-old basketball player can't go compete with NBA players. A 14-year-old football player can't go compete with NFL players. But I would think that a 14-year-old, surfer could go and compete, right? With from a physical level, right? I mean, obviously, no, not the experience isn't there, but how does, am I off there, or is that, what would you say about that?
I mean, kind of, but not totally. Because I feel like more like the older dudes that have more experience, and the pros just have so much more power in their surfing because they're stronger and they just have more like that experience, like you said.
Yeah. So is there still a lot of weight training and stuff to it? I mean, are you kind of working out the lower body a lot, and the core? I would think the core is where it's at, right?
Core, shoulders, and like legs are like the biggest.
Okay. I mean, you don't see too many guys that are real shredded or anything out there, but I've yet to meet a fat surfer either, right? So these guys are in pretty good condition.
So what type of working out are you doing? Like what's kind of like your main workout?
I do like I will do a lot of like weight training stuff, and then I also do like a lot of like in water stuff. Like I'll swim laps, and then I'll also have like in water like training with like our neighbor's a professional, Knox Harris. He'll help me with like knowing how to do stuff better and like teaching me what he knows in the water.
So the neighbor is Knox. He's a pro surfer.
He was, yes.
Wow, that's amazing, man. What a nice
Good neighbor to have.
yeah. Yeah, right. That's crazy, man. I wish my neighbor was Mike Trout for my son. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you Jay, I'm sorry, I keep kind of diving in.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I mean it's just so interesting to me. I want to go back kind of to the competitive level. So I mean, you're talking the Carolinas and the Eastern, and I've seen a few times on like X Games or ESPN Ocho or whatever, right? Where they have these guys, they're all over the place. Japan, and I was talking to your dad about probably going to butcher the name, but the Nazareth or whatever it was, that HBO show, which is just amazing. Jay, if you haven't seen that documentary, they have what's it called, Meeps?
Oh.
The giant waves of Nazareth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll check it out.
Nazare is called.
Nazare, yeah. And it's like this, it was this HBO documentary. It was probably a 5 or 6 hour long documentary. The absolute hardest and biggest waves, people die out there. There's always people, there's always people trying to up the next person. And I think that was where the 86 or 87 foot wave was.
Yep.
And, that to me, like, that's more Daredevil stuff, right? That's like Evel Knievel stuff, right? Like you go out, ride it, and say you wrote it. That's not even really professional stuff to me. That would be
we have a guy who lives here. His name's Mason Barnes. There was this one swell that came through there. He had the record for like a day. He caught the biggest wave there for a day. And then someone else the day after caught a bigger one and broke the record.
That is wild. And it was like 80 some feet, right?
Yep.
I mean, hell no.
Yeah, no way. I saw the video of it, and it doesn't even look remotely real. It looks like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to watch this documentary, man. And it's got it's very cool because it's got a lot of the pro, Kelly Slater's one, the big main one, that I know, if you know that name. Other than this guy right here. Do you recognize this guy, Meeps?
Looks like Patrick Swayze from here.
Yeah, that right there he goes by the name of Brody from Point Break. And what him and his crew like to do is they like to rob things with president masks on and then go just shred boner out there out in Hawaii, man. That's what they did. So I guess, but on that page again, I'm going to keep going back into it. So you win the Easterns, right? Then do you go to say, like, how do you compete with Johnny Sakamura from Japan? Like, how does it go from each event, like, to getting to, you know what I mean? Like, there's a National Football League, right?
Yeah.
That's when you made it. So how do these 35 pros, how do you make that? How do you crack the ice there? And right now, are you ranked? Are you considered pro? Are you amateur? What are you now?
Like in the middle, I'd say.
Okay.
But after Easterns, because the West Coast also has the same thing. They have like their similar to the ESA. It's like, I think it's the WSA. I'm pretty sure it's like super similar.
Yeah.
After that, like if you do good at Easterns, you go to or regionals, you go to nationals, which I think I got like 17th at nationals, which is like the whole US.
It's amazing, man. Great job.
Yeah. And then if you do really good at nationals, you don't even have to do good nationals. If you like make it to nationals, sometimes you get invited to something called Prime, which means each year. That's like the US level of like seasons. Like they have like a seasonal contest all around the US.
Yep.
And that's how you easily make it to nationals each year. And if you win nationals normally, or if you make it to the finals nationals, you'll go to normally you'll go to the QS, which is like the one level right below the highest pro you can possibly be, which is the championship tour on the WSL. And then this is the qualifying series on the WSL.
Okay.
And if you do good on that, if you win like 10 of those contests, you most likely are going to have enough points to get up to the top 35.
So it's points. Okay. I guess maybe I should have been more clear then. So it's a point system. So you're accumulating points as you go into. Now, does it benefit you then to do more the more contests you're in, right? So for example, what if there's a guy who's not that great, but he does every single contest and he's accumulating points versus a guy who's like does 5 of them, but he always wins them. You know what I mean? Like, so how do they do that?
Not really, because the points really only work when you get all the way up to the QS. Okay. To get up to there, though, it's normally just off of like how you do like in the big contest, and I'm almost more or less inviting you to it.
Okay, so it's kind of like, hey, this guy invite. Okay, yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? Like Jay, I don't know, I'm learning a lot.
No, I know, I'm kind of just soaking it all in. I I have one experience ever surfing. I went
This
to
I want to hear. This I'm dying to hear.
So first of all, being in the ocean is to me the scariest thing in the world.
He's afraid of the ocean.
I have no desire, but this is going back years ago when I'm like 20, and of course I wanted to go out there because that's where the girls were. So fear went away. So I'm out there, I'm surfing, and first of all, I'm going out there, and nobody told me when you're going out there that you got to kind of ride the surfboard a little bit. I'm kind of holding it. I swear to God, first 5 minutes I'm walking out there, a wave comes, smashes the surfboard, smashes me in the head. I fly back. It's dragging that rope that goes on your ankle is dragging me underwater. I'm like, the first 5 minutes I practically killed myself. So then I regroup, I get out there, and long story short, I tried it a few times. I was horrible.
Where was this?
Daytona Beach.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm kind of just taking it all in and learning about this, but my surfing experience is not a good one, to say the least.
Well, it's a good story nonetheless. You had that forever. The only thing that would have topped it is if it smacked off, gave you a bloody nose, right?
It didn't give me a bloody nose, but I'm telling you, the surfboard went flying because I let go of it. It dragged me underwater, and I was just like, oh my God, like what is going on right now?
So. My kids, as recent as yesterday, were out, and then we have those little styrofoam boogie boards you take out there, and these waves are like, less than they were half a foot or whatever. And they get up and they look, I'm surfing. What actually qualifies you riding a wave, right? So for someone to actually say I surfed, right? Because you can't just get on, stand up. Like what actually qualifies to say, yes, I surfed or I rode a wave all the way through? You know what I mean?
More catching it like before it breaks, because like there's either like the white water, which is like that white part you see that like crumbles through.
Mm-hmm.
Probably catching it before that and just like not wiping out before it breaks.
So with you, you're so far advanced that it's like it's not even a thing, right? Like when you first started though, and say, or even first started competing, was there ever a time where like one of your rides or one, didn't qualify as surfing? You know what I'm saying? Like, or was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of got to lead yourself into it. Just kind of know what you're doing. I guess like anything, right?
Yeah. I mean, my greatest accomplishment was, you saw the little wave coming, and then you get on your board and you start paddling with it, and you stand up, and then you ride your surfboard in to basically to the shore. And I was like, oh my God, I finally did it.
That'd be a huge accomplishment. Yeah, I'd be high-fiving my buddies.
I mean, but these aren't like waves, It was more.
This is the bare.
A water pushing it, a hump, if you will. Yeah.
I swam with some seals in La Jolla, so we'll keep it there, man. I would try it again though, and I'm going to come down and see you guys. We're not quite wrapping up yet, but I'm going to come down and see you guys next year. I've kind of already planned it out, and I am going to get out in the water with you guys and try surfing for sure.
Yeah.
I want to know, of all the places you've been all over the world, let's hear it. Let's hear your favorite and your least favorite. Right. So we're going to do something when we're going to wrap up maybe in a little bit, and we're going to do rapid fire. Right, Jay?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
And we're going to throw 6 questions at you. And we're going to rapid fire you. We're not quite ready for that yet, but I want to know your favorite place you've ever surfed and your least favorite.
And maybe scariest.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a lot of places. I've been to Costa Rica, El Salvador, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. Gee, where else? California.
And he's 14 years old.
All over the East Coast. Favorite place I've ever probably been? Either El Salvador or Puerto Rico. I'll probably say Puerto Rico because I've been there a lot. And it's just like my favorite waves are probably there.
You when you're there, you're getting a lot of downtime too, right? I mean, you get to go explore.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I mean, El Salvador, I don't know too much about the country. I know, your dad used to, when he used to mess around with, who was it? Who's the guy that Medellin, making a bad joke at the drug lord, right? Trying to get there slowly but surely. Nobody was picking up on it. Anyways,
we'll edit it out for you.
Edit that out for me. That's why we have editing. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not a big time drug dealer, so that we can edit that out. But yeah, El Salvador, I mean, is a place that I would never ever think of going. And obviously, you'd go there for a couple of reasons, right? For beautiful scenery up with mountains, whatever, or to surf, right?
Yeah.
And I think some places like that, people don't truly understand how beautiful they are unless they go see them. What would you say is the most scenic, or is that is it El Salvador?
Probably coast Hawaii, actually. Yeah, definitely Hawaii.
Yeah. How many times have you been out there?
Once.
Yeah.
Trying to go again now.
Yeah. Is that kind of the surfer's every surfer's dream is Hawaii, right?
Yeah, either that or the Maldives.
Where's that?
It's like kind of near Indonesia.
Okay.
And why there? What makes that so special?
I mean, normally when you go there, Maldives are mainly just kind of surf trips. But the cool thing about that is if you go on a surf trip there, you're normally like on a giant boat and you're not really going on land. You're just exploring by boat almost the entire time.
Wow. So
is it inhibited? I mean, are people living there and stuff, or is it just basically just go and surf? Yeah. Okay. I know down by you, and I didn't go, but there was, I think what is it, Lee Island or Leah Island or something? It's like it was right down by you all, and it was an uninhabited island, and we were going to go over there, and it was just there was nothing to do. It was raw island with nothing to do, so we went ahead and passed on that. So what are you're 14? You're just going to continue to grind, right? You're going to continue. Is this your dream? Is this your goal? I mean, what is your end game? What do you want to do? Do you want to be the number one surfer in the world, or what do you want to do?
I want to like live somewhere where I can like somehow make money off surfing, where it's like living in Costa Rica and owning like a surf charter company, or making money somehow where I'm surfing, but like living somewhere like amazing.
That's rad. That's me too. I want that too. Don't tell my wife. That's what I want. I mean, Kelly Slater, right? That guy's like 50 years old, 51. Is he kind of your idol? Do you have idols in the craft, people that you kind of try to emulate, or, that you say, hey, this is how I want to surf?
I mean, there's like so many. I mean, John Florence, Ethan Ewing, there's just so many now that they're just like, oh my gosh, they're so good. I want to be like that guy,
Yeah. So do you get a chance? Do you, like when you know an event's coming or something like that? I mean, I would think, for me, it's I've been to every baseball stadium in the country, right? So I like going. That's my thing. Like, do you like going and kind of following these guys and checking out the events? Like, is there like, oh, I got to go see this guy type thing?
Yeah, it is like that. It is a little bit tricky though, because a lot of these contests, I mean, it's so like during the season, there's so many contests and they're just everywhere. Like, there's not a lot to come here. The closest one to here is in California.
Okay. See, and that's what I mean. That's what Jay, I don't know if you like where I was kind of getting at with it is like there's the Carolina, end of things, which is great surf, and I didn't even realize how great it was. But and then he says, California, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because
that's like some of the low level contests too. I mean, like there's like 3 Australian contests. There's a bunch in Brazil, a couple more, and there's one in El Salvador. There's a couple in Hawaii. It's just like they go everywhere.
Wow.
And is there pop-up contests? I guess one thing you can't predict is the weather, right? You can't predict surf. You can't predict waves. It would stink, right, to have to cancel an event because of bad weather or whatever. Does that happen real often in surfing? And at the same token, is there pop-up events where they're like, man, this is such an amazing time. Everybody's got to get out there. We're going to have a pop-up event.
Not really pop events, but yes, there are definitely times where it's like we can't do it. The waves are toe high and it's not surfable.
Yeah. And I think there's probably just too much money involved with the pop-up stuff, right? Too many, advertisers and and I know you certainly have a few, right? You want to give those a shout out, man? I mean,
I was going to ask you about your sponsors. Are those your sponsors on your board there, or?
Yeah. So I got Buell wetsuits. They'd like help me like with wetsuits. So when it gets cold here, it keeps me warm.
Yeah.
Recon Surf Shop, which is the surf shop that's around here. It's like right up the road from here. They help me get on Buell and like almost all these companies.
Very cool.
Yes, they All-Stars. They're like an all-star team. I think there's how many are there? 40, I think, kids that make it each year. And each year they do a trip to Hawaii. They do coaching because the guy who's the coach for them, he's won, I don't know, 20, I think, East Coast championships. He's like super good.
Yeah.
And then they have surf supplies are like pads, like traction pads, leashes, board bags to keep your board safe, and all that good stuff.
Very cool.
I dig it, man. Yeah, we'll make sure we get them. I'll clipped on this video. On our stuff for sure. Yeah. Do you guys? I got just a couple more questions, and we'll go into rapid fire. Do you guys customize your boards? Is that a big kind of competition thing, right? Like everybody wants their board to look the coolest kind of thing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what's yours? Is this your active board behind you? Is this the one you're shredding on every day?
Yeah, I ride this one right now. This is what I'm like riding the most. The Sharp Eye, the model is an HC2. It's a 5'4" board.
Now, when you go out, is it still a thing where you're waxing the board all the way down?
Yep, all wax here.
That's what all those marks are. Okay.
Yep.
And that's just what? That's gliding on the water better? Is that?
That helps your front foot because your back foot's gonna be more on this, which is like super grippy. And then this is for like your front foot to stay super like gripped on there.
Okay.
Yeah, you would think the waxes would make it smooth and slippery, but it's to help you stay on it better. And
it's more of a tacky.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a thicker. Yeah.
And is that because it gets into the water? Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So it almost becomes like all right. See, I'm learning.
Yeah.
My man Meeps is educating me here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not like waxing your car, like we would think of, right? Where you make it glossy and smooth. It's
not
almost
Simonized, it's not Simonized.
The material is almost like a candle wax, but it's not like got that oily feeling to it. It's like a candle wax. It's like rough.
Yeah.
Yep. So listen, this was fun. This was awesome. I learned a lot. This was really cool. We're gonna wrap up here with our rapid fire. We do 3 questions each. Don't spend a lot of time on the answers, right? We just want you to bang. So Jay, you go ahead and start us out.
So mine was a little bit of a goofy one here to start with. So shave your head or surf naked in front of all your friends?
Surf naked. 100%. 100%.
All right.
I'm boring, so I always do the chicken wing question, right? Because we're from Buffalo, and I like to tally up the results. Do you like the wings or the drums?
Definitely the wings.
Damn. All right, another wing guy, Jay.
Greatest surfer ever, in your opinion?
Oh, it's hard. I mean,
you gotta
Kelly
pick one.
Slater's probably the GOAT. My dad's over here going.
now, what about
Sorry,
Duke Kahuna Moko?
Yeah, that guy. He's the guy who like he went to Hawaii and he just like he spread surfing to like the world. He like took surfing from Hawaii and was like, everybody needs to learn about this, and just like made surfing.
So is he the GOAT or is Kelly Slater, you think?
By like how good of a surfer they are is probably Kelly Slater.
Okay.
But Duke was probably just like,
Duke.
I mean, there would be
Put him on the map.
Kelly Slater.
Duke's he's the OG, right?
OG, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the GOAT and the OG. Yeah, definitely 2 different. Best surf movie ever.
Oh. Probably not the best surfing in it, but it's the corniest and it's hilarious. North Shore. It's called North Shore. Great.
What? I mean,
watch it.
There's tears coming out of his eyes right now.
You have to watch it.
I see it. I actually see it.
There's tears coming out of Swayze's eyes up in heaven. North Shore, it's called?
Yep.
All right, I'll check it out. Jay?
You're in the ocean. What's scarier? If you see a shark or you see a giant octopus?
Ooh. Definitely shark.
Okay. All right.
Okay, who's a better surfer, you or your dad?
Me. That's easy.
Oh, that was easy, man. That wasn't even like we did rapid fire, and the first 5 he thought about.
We're gonna give him a shout out though, because he did make a picture in the magazine.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah, do we have a photo?
Yeah, do we have the magazine?
Yeah, he's bringing it.
Yeah.
Come on back over here, big worm.
It's in an acrylic.
Yeah, we do.
Here it comes. Oh me, oh my.
That is awesome.
I don't even think it's him though. I want proof.
What a cool shot.
That is really cool, man. Congratulations. Honestly, that's really cool.
Oh yeah, we got a blow up picture of it too.
Oh my lord. Okay, all right.
He
Where's
gets
the
one
life?
thing, and now he thinks he's the greatest surfer of all time.
Well, you know what? I know your dad. So tomorrow you might come in and he might have like the giant cutout picture of him doing it next.
That is awesome.
Listen, man, this was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it.
Heck yeah.
I wish you absolutely, nothing but the best moving forward. You seem like a great kid, man, and I wouldn't expect anything less knowing your parents. So, nothing but the best. And again, you're gonna have to teach me a few things when I come out there.
Heck yeah.
Well, you definitely got me excited. I'm gonna follow your career, and I'm following your team on Instagram now. So I'm gonna keep watching and hope to see you in the pros there.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
A lot of fun, Meeps. Take care, buddy. Thanks for the time.
You too. Thank you.
All right, man.